Hello there, wonderful folks of the internet. I'm Chris. I'm your humble MC for these preceding evenings for another episode of the Doomsayers. Before I get into everything I need to talk about, let's introduce all the lovely folks that are here and who's on the cast. So, starting off, Kai, take it away. Who are you playing and who are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. I use he, them, she pronouns. And tonight I am back playing Merrick, the Hungry Wolf, also known as Patroclus, who uses he, him pronouns. And he's having a great time. Everything's so good going on in New Promethea and the underworld and the everything. And he isn't at all going to fight any of his party members or any of the gods. On that end, hey, how's it going there? Calamity? I'm like, who's next? It's Calamity. It is.
It me. Hey. Oh, it's going. It's going. It's going somewhere. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. Hi, I'm Calamity. My pronouns are she, they, and today I will be playing Mallory. Interim, what is that word for you're not quite in the seat of power yet, but you're gonna
The
be
Regent.
the regent. Yeah, regent of the underworld. Yeah, well, I'm feeling great. How about you, Val? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. Hello, everyone. I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of playing the Hector of Troy, the breaker of horses, Prince of Troy, who's also in his son Astyanax's body. That's fine, normal, and okay. And he's having normal feelings about it. MC, how are we doing today?
We're doing good in the metaphorical hood. With that in mind, I'm Chris. I'll be MC for these preceding evenings. Now, a couple things to catch up on in case you missed it or weren't here when it popped up. Real quick, content warnings. If you type in !2CW, you see the content warnings for this episode in particular, as we did add a couple more things just for your safety here. With that in mind, if you missed it, I can tell you right now, for this episode in particular, we have fantasy and gun violence, apocalypse, romance, references to sexual entanglements, monsters and monstrosities, severe weather, blood, real-world religions, familial struggles, trauma, McCarthyism, mind and memory manipulation, depictions and references of kidnapping, violence to children death, abusive parental relationships, this reality, indirect images of self-harm, crime, supernatural and mythological elements, murder, and suicidal idealization. If any of this does not float your boat, or you have to feel you have to step away, please through, and there is a plethora of wonderful content out there for you to enjoy. If you want to follow me or any of the lovely cast members I have on and behind the screen, you can type !Doomcast to see if we can find us on the wide internet. I think that is all from me, so without further ado, let's get into that intro, and we'll see you right back as we get into another thrilling episode of The Doomsayers. We'll be right back. we return back on our Doomsayers after a quite eventful journey into the underworld, if I do say so myself. But at the moment, we find ourselves back on the mortal plane, somewhere on the outskirts of the city, where more towards the foresty regions, or where nature grows, despite the hubbub and cinder block nature of the city itself. At the moment, you are in a clearing, and as the trees sort of surround you, you all are looking at the sort of statue form of almost like standby or like hibernate mode that Troy has sort of formed themselves into at the moment, as the three of you look around it, and Athena by your side. I think there's kind of a tense quiet for a moment, and then Athena pipes up. Well, that was intriguing and nefarious. I think it'll be quite simple if we just... And you see they begin to form their spear in their hand and just begin to motion towards...
Don't you dare. And that
Mar-
shield begins to form on Merrick's arm.
Merrick, clearly you're distressed, but this is...
Listen to him, goddess. My wife isn't
Get me
there.
closer. I will fight you. I'm not in the mood.
Duh. I believe my suggestion here is the most wise course of action. If we simply chop the head off of this monster, then clearly the souls will go where they
They
belong.
said no. Find another way.
Oh, great goddess of wisdom. Hear me when I say, you want to make the wise choice here? You put that the fuck away.
Fine, children. You see, weapon disappears. Then what is your solution then? Should we sing it to sleep then? Worked so well in the underworld, didn't it?
Path is clear, goddess. We complete the frame. We do what needs to be done, and we release the souls. Killing them won't release them. And Hector looks at the visage of Troy in front of him, the myriad of souls kind of swirling around in the flames, and within that, like, charred armor. We have one shot at this. Centuries of wrongdoing we can fix.
I will listen to you, my boy, but I must warn you, you aren't the first one who thinks they can solve everything of centuries of wrongdoing. Ares was the same way. Their tribunal was the same way. Everyone tries to save the world, and yet it doesn't seem any better for it.
I don't need to save the world. I just need him. And Merrick points to the stone-like figure.
Well, we can do this, and I think I know where the frame is, but I am a bit concerned that once the frame is used, you will try to destroy it. I know Hector no deadly is loyal to me, but you too, especially the people I'm speaking with now, have intentions that aren't quite clear.
Mallory, you wouldn't do anything unwise, would you?
I wouldn't.
See, there's nothing to worry about.
Well,
You-
word are
you
so
see-
kind.
You see the minutia of his face shift when it comes to when the goddess Athena mentions loyalty to her. There's a tiny little shift just on the corner of his lip and the tip of his right eyebrow, where he stiffens like a marble statue. But he maintains composure. Whatever must or needs to happen will have to wait till the frame is completed.
I
And then he
understand,
has
Hector,
more
but
answers.
I just simply would like to propose something. I can take you to the frame, no doubt. I trust you, Hector, but you too, I want an assurance, a promise, a hand agreement with a god. You will give the frame to me once you have completed your little ritual.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm
And
going
Merrick stares at her, unafraid at this point.
I am going to reclaim my seat at the high table there. The tribunal will be mine.
Your highest goal is bureaucracy, is divine bureaucracy.
Stepping stones, darling. You don't try to, how the humans say, put the cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart. I get confused. But simply a
carts.
stepping stone. Yeah, there it is. But yes, we dethrone Zeus, probably, but I have a feeling you'll have beef with them either way, and the other members will fall like domino. They are wilted plants to whoever defeats big old bad Zeus.
What are you gonna give the underworld for their loyalty? And he looks to Mallory.
Intriguing. Is there anything specific you have in mind, Mallory?
Not yet. But I'll say for now, as long as you don't do anything to get in my way, I won't get in yours.
Well, I think that's fantastic. As they extend an arm to the both of you. Shall we shake on it?
You see Hector looks over to Marek and Mallory, and he just nods.
Merrick gives the slightest head shake. He's deep in a crisis of faith. He used to believe so devoutly in the gods, and all of this is just the last keystone brick pulled from what was a high vaulted temple and is now just rubble inside of a very holy man.
There's a hand that Hector has where he just kind of like lowers it right in front of his chest. He's not nodding to you like a man blinded by faith or a man bound by duty. He's looking at you like a king who asks you to bide your time. And only the both of you are shaking, not he.
I will agree to the frame being passed on to you after we're done. That is all. If anything comes up that I don't agree with, I will deal with it accordingly.
And you, Marek? Will you take his old purse in his hand?
Merrick draws deep from his cigarette and just lets out a puff of smoke at Athena. And then he looks briefly to Hector, but then straight to the dormant form of Troy. You leave that alone. You leave him and I alone. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And he holds his hand out.
Then we are in agreement. And you see, as you both shake your hands, you can see what looks like to be these ethereal like thorns begin to almost like protrude in and out of your region where you shake with no physical harm, but you do feel something almost like a bracelet or something begin to wrap around you as that feeling begins to takes backsies. Now, you should follow me. We're going to the old quarry. That is where I sense the power of the last frame. Say your goodbyes and do not worry about the statue. I'm sure no one is going to want this, forgive my language, piece of shit in the middle of the road.
Merrick looks down to Troy one last time. Wait for me. And then he starts to walk.
Lovely. Follow me. And with that, you all proceed to walk towards this quarry. As you are making your way through the forest, anybody want to say anything to anyone here? Hector, you are muted.
Of course I am. All I said was not yet, because the goddess is still with us. But Hector's keeping really close to the other two. There is a clarity, a sharpened spear-like clarity in the way that Hector moves now.
Merrick is muddled. Upon returning from the underworld, he goes back to looking like an ex-con who makes illicit deals in alleys in the 1980s. And he is lost in that look at Eris. And with just a few minutes of distance, a small part of him that he wishes he could just snuff out like a lamp. That empathy and understanding that she is doing something that he wants to know more, but he will put that away. And as he walks, he thinks about that bracelet feeling and the scars on his hand from a lifetime of rituals. Scars on his neck from dueling, from losing sparring matches with the greatest of the Greeks, from real fights. A scar that never really healed. A scar on his face that's even older than all of those. And he keeps walking.
Shall we make another deal, Patroclus?
For what?
Whatever is troubling you. I kept my oath to you, have I not?
Yes, and what, O great Prince of Troy, would you want from a scorned son, fallen soldier, and a traitor?
Whatever comes, whatever final trial, challenge, or test, protect him. And he points to his body. Protect my boy. Do you hear me, Patroclus?
I hear you. And if it can be done, and we don't lose everything else, because I will not sacrifice Achilles for anyone, I will do it.
And you shouldn't. But should anything happen to me, make sure he is safe. And I will ensure your return to your beloved. That is the deal I'll struck with you. Regardless of who stands in our way.
And much more willingly than I think even he thought he would. He reaches out with that same hand that he just shook a goddess's hand with. And offers this very familiar handshake. An oath between men. Like they held as law in their mortal lives.
As that happens there, Mallory, you still have Enid in your arms, though he's been quiet for the most part. You do notice he is becoming slightly restless. It seems that he's getting hungry. Problem.
Gods. On our way, we might need to make a detour. If it's quite all right.
What seems to be the problem, Mallory? Is it the smaller version of you that's giving you trouble?
He's his own person, and he's not giving me trouble. He's hungry.
Well, just simply say so from one mother to another, and you see she just begins to pick berries. I am the goddess of wisdom, after all. These will be safe for your child to eat, as they hand over berries in the palm of their hand.
Thank you.
The least I can do for someone in my service?
I'm just helping. For now.
Just,
What is it? Yes, Hector.
I just need to know if Varric is actually making that
Yes.
face.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he, specifically that word, rubs him so the wrong way that if he still looked like a wolf, you would see the hairs on the back of his neck stand up.
Well, you're just like your father's child, always with passion. I will say you should learn from his mistakes, Mallory. It is not for me to say anything, but I think
it's not.
Either way, I would just say, avoid your father's mistakes. Stubborn as he was a good man.
You would think so.
Lots to think about, but I'll leave you with your poor child in hand so you can feed him. The last thing we want is a crying baby giving away our location. That's just me.
He knocks out after food. I'll be fine.
This way, folks. And what's going through Mallory's head here as you're sort of feeding Enid?
She is honestly more concerned about this last frame and what it's going to take, because she just watched her companions go through literal hell, and she worries about their kind of, between Hector and realizing his situation a bit better and speaking with Merrick about what he was dealing with, while parts of himself were kind of coming out, or fading away rather. She can't help but feel this gnawing concern for both of them, as she watches them chat. Maybe I think she's lingering a little bit behind. Kind of bouncing Enid to encourage him to go to sleep. I think she just feels a protectiveness right now.
Fantastic. With that, some time goes on. Gets maybe about noonish. The sun, even though it is winter, slightly cold still. The sun provides some warmth. But as you come out towards the clearing, you begin to see signs of an abandoned place. As you see that the gate that is in front of it is old, rusted, parts of it kind of broken and bended from the wind. And soon what you see before you is what looks like to be an old quarry of sorts. As you can see, it's sort of large, whitish cavern that's kind of sinks in below with cuts of black and white stone that were left over from its time of operation, but it's been abandoned since then. The main building is still there, but you can see in the distance it's old with cracked windows and graffiti everywhere. But that is not the point of concern for you. Without having to roll anything, you can see that on the ground, within the snow, very much of somebody pressed against it, footprints. Fresh. Someone is here. That isn't any of you. What do you do?
As a very normal first response, Merrick sniffs it. It's snow. I don't imagine he's gonna get very much, but he does like lean down fully to the ground and
I'll give you you can roll here if you want to do a little bit of investigate
Sure.
here. So if you want
Yeah.
to investigate, you can do that.
Yeah.
I'll do you roll that while everybody else. What about you, Hector? What are you doing?
Hector is stepping a little forward, not in the way of Merrick's whole sniffing deal. He can have that as a treat. But Hector will step forward and take a look around. So while he's looking at the tracks, he wants to kind of like find any hints around the tree line near further up the path to see if he sees shadows, how many sets of people, things like that, just to get a better sense of the surroundings.
Fantastic. You can go roll me investigate 2, and then Mallory, what are you doing?
Trying to think. I don't know if it's time to use something. No, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I think I'm gonna do similar. Maybe like keep more of an eye on the building, see if I see any movement.
Are you to be active, or are you a little bit more passive in this situation?
More passive. More passive.
Okay, so you don't have to roll anything. You're kind of just looking out just in case. But for my 2 active goers here, Shara, if we do Merrick, what are you rolling?
carrion dog, rot in war, and hunger for scraps of destiny. And I would like to use my tap into the source ability, which gives me a batch of 2 juice when I use a method related to my adaptation mythos.
Fantastic. I will say -2 because you are incomplete without him. Actually, it's just 1. You're not alone at the moment, but I will say you're incomplete without him.
Yeah, that's real.
At this moment.
But you know what? That's fine because that is a 12.
Fantastic.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
how many clues do you got there? You got what? 2? If I'm not mistaken, or was 1?
3 clues? Wait,
3 clues?
hold on. It's equal to.
Whatever you use or your tags. So.
Oh, then it was 4.
Okay. 4 clues there. And then what
Wait,
about
3?
3? 3
Yeah,
clues?
3.
All right. Fantastic. So with that
And
in
2
mind,
juice.
2 juice, 3 clues. So what do you want to answer here in this moment here with your question?
I think the first question that I would like to know is, was this person running?
From what you can see, no. This is somebody who's just walking at a steady pace
Okay.
at this moment.
And I think as Merrick leans down and really sniffs it, I'm wondering if these are steps of a mortal or steps of someone with the smell of divinity on them.
You go smelling through and you can see sort of emanating from where you are, it smells slightly divine, not completely. There's an element to it that you can't pin down as you're unfamiliar with it, but there's something else on top of it, so it's something divine.
Fair enough. And then the third clue, the question would definitely be like, where do the footsteps lead?
Relatively simple, that one. You see that wherever this person was going, goes straight into it goes straight into the quarry, wherever it is at the moment.
Okay. I think as he gathers that, he stands up, and with it, I think for the juice, like pulls out two of those cut ends, just to like hold and kind of worry over as he is thinking over the scene.
Definitely thinking about, concerned a bit as you ponder exactly what's going on. But in this moment, we did lose Val, so we're going to take a quick break here, right back, folks, as we try to get Val back. So we'll be right back, folks. We'll be back. hi, everyone. Nothing bad happened. With that in mind, Hector, you were going to be rolling investigation. So what did we decide
Yes.
on? What are we using?
I am using Commander Sharpened Strategy,
Mm-hmm.
Venerated Protector,
Mm-hmm.
Divine Sense. So that's a +3.
I'm going to say -1 for Plagued by Regret.
Hee
Tee-hee.
absolutely. Yippee. That's a 9 + 2, 11.
Fantastic. So how many tags did you use again? You used
3.
3. So you get 3 questions you can ask here.
Okay. Are there people around us immediately, like in our immediate vicinity, hidden within any sort of like shadow?
No, it just seems to be you guys. You see somebody clearly was here, but they seem to have moved further in. So there's nobody
Mhm.
else. There's no sort of sentry or security guard or anything like that. It's just
Mhm.
you.
But how many people have moved through here? Just the one set of footprints?
Yep, seems to be like one person.
Mhm. Okay, that's 2. I'm ready to take any ideas for a third question, gang.
Could always save it
An
too.
idea of like, okay, yeah.
It's up to you. No, if you have an idea, Mallory, if you want to pop open, no.
No, I think I'll save it.
Okay.
Maybe we get deeper in.
At this moment, I think it goes, well, clearly there's someone inside. So if we want to stop looking like seagulls, who wants to go first?
I'll take point.
Really? Seagulls.
What? Did I hit something? I hit a nerve.
And he just starts walking behind Hector.
Watch my back. And Hector will take point and move like how we have typically moved. It has served us for the most part well, I think. When we used our little 2 hoplite formation here. So he's gonna like march forward. He's gonna have his shield out and he'll pull his spear from his neck.
Very much.
God.
You do hear Athena in the back just like, what did I say? I said a bird. What the fuck? And just continues to kind of come from the...
As we walk, Merrick takes those 2 threads that he seems to have pulled out of nowhere as he has interacted with what has gone on here and just found like the discarded potential of this quarry and pulled it from the earth itself. And as he absorbs it, I'm going to convert those into a story tag. Because we're leaving the scene and it's not super relevant for him to hold on to 2 cut ends of fate. So I'm going to say that he is juiced.
Fantastic. You get juiced as you proceed forward, and one by one, you all begin to make your way downhill, having to climb down certain points and sort of going down. And as you do, you can see that further in, it wasn't clear too much from where you were, but the center point where this main building is, there seems to be a fire. Somebody you think is living here. No sort of security whatsoever, but it seems that whoever is here is inside.
To kind of amend what I literally just said, I would like that juiced to become actually a reduction in burnt, if that's cool.
Fantastic.
That is so fair and valid, honestly.
I was like, an up or a down. I'm gonna go with a removal
What?
of some of that
I'm
burn.
like, what? You don't want to have like several statuses happening to you at
No,
once?
this is how I play City of Mist, is collecting statuses, right? That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes forward with
Yeah.
his shield, and he summons that spear again.
So just going in, this is what I'm hearing here. We're just gonna open
Yeah,
the door.
Yeah,
I
just
think
right behind Hector.
Yeah, Hector lowers the spear a little bit, but keeps the shield up, and he just says out loud, "Whoever or whatever still remains here is clearly confident or strong enough to not have any other additional protections. So I am a little cautious. And
Hmm.
there might be an opportunity to just slip by or not engage if we have to."
You are many things, but subtle is not one that I would credit you with. I'm fairly certain that all of this is not just going to slip by.
Hector chuckles at your at your comment of his lack of subtlety. And he says, "Served me in battles before," and we'll keep marching forward.
We don't fight like that anymore. And he just keeps on, like, he says it almost under his breath as he keeps walking.
Fantastic. As you guys opening this sort of heavy, rusted door, you see what before you is a makeshift camp. You can see that it has whoever is this person that's in here that you can see has made this sort of home or hovel out of the nearby parts with tent. You can see a number of food items that are on a cart that doesn't belong here. And you can see what looks like to be just a homeless person's abode, in a sense, where they made their peace. And you can see that the individual in question seems to be heating up some sort of spam or something in a can over the makeshift fire. They are very much bundled up in an amalgamation of clothes that has dirt over them and sort of very much worn and torn. You can't see their face as they have it covered, and the shadows that are in here provide that cover. But you do notice brown skin, their hair unkempt and very ragged brown that kind of goes all the way down as they're just cooking at the moment. And as you sort of enter in, look over to you. If it is a fire need, you can simply join me. No need for weapons. However strange they might be. I think you go, oh great, the homeless.
Who are you? If I'm going to share a fire, I'd like to know with whom.
Oh, call me JJ. That's what I go by with friends. I mean, if you want to be friends.
Yeah. Sure. And Merrick makes the shield and spear just disappear. And he starts walking forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much, but she kind of goes in. I think I have some bread, a couple olives, and a bit of wine.
An excellent selection. JJ, was it?
Yes,
Hector.
pleasure to meet you.
Mallory.
Merrick.
Hi, and who's this little fella here?
Enid.
Oh, hi, Enid. And kind of breaks off some bread. You go. See Enid very much and just like messes it around their face.
Your mouth is so big, but you still missed.
And guy with the scar, he got a name.
Thanks. Merrick.
And he pushes you out the way, Mac. And I am Athena, goddess of wisdom.
Merrick thinks very quickly about how bad of an idea it would be to attack Athena. and sits down, just plops himself down sullenly on the ground.
Lovely to meet all of you. So, what brings you to my humble abode, my kingdom?
What a fine kingdom it is. And he lifts his voice loud enough to hear it echo.
Is.
Well, our friend here led us here. Athena.
Yes, I do not know if you can contemplate this, human. I am looking for a frame of power that is
Oh,
beyond comprehension. You see, he kind of goes, yeah, you're looking for the third frame, I assume.
You know it.
Oh, I know it. Many before you have tried to claim it. They all fail.
not so beyond comprehension, is it?
No,
You
I thought he was
say-
homeless, okay? I thought it was different.
I thought you were homeless.
I play homeless. I'm not actually homeless.
You say you're.
Hector doesn't correct that assumption, but it does feel like Athena is indeed very, very homeless.
Very indeed homeless, but likes to think otherwise.
You say you are the ruler of this kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you rule over?
From the quarry to the forest. Or at least a section of it.
And
The
whatever lies
tribunal.
within.
Say again?
And whatever lies within.
Yes. The tribunal keeps to their side, I keep to my side. We have an understanding.
An agreement with the tribunal.
Not really an agreement. They just don't come over here.
Like a loose accord. Like they just don't want to deal with you.
More
You're
like too
lucky
many
that
bad
they ignore you.
memories. If anything.
Memories.
I mean, there
JJ.
must be some other pull to you for them
Tell
to
me your
have
secret.
this. Yeah.
Well, I don't have too many secrets here, but I can tell you where you need to go if you want to attempt to get the frame, though I would suggest against it, especially with one of you being a mother.
And why would that change anything?
Well, whoever goes in doesn't come out. The last thing I want to do is make an orphan out of the kid.
There are problems bigger than us. We have to.
Well, I want to make it abundantly clear. Do you really want the third frame? I mean, like, really want it. Athena very much up. Yes, indeed. Why is that a question?
We're not exactly in the place to be picky about how much we want it, JJ. And Merrick reaches into his jacket and pulls out a nearly empty flask and offers some to JJ. But we are in need. And I'm assuming no one who isn't desperate tries this. And I assure you, each of us are plenty desperate.
Well, he kind of gets up. Here's what we'll do. You two, and points over to Athena and Enid, should stay here. It won't really work for you. Excuse me? If you are a goddess, it's the last place you want to be. But the rest of you can follow me.
Merrick takes a swig out of the flask and puts it back in his pocket and stands up.
Hector looks at Valerie for a moment, especially with the thought of leaving Enid here. How are you feeling?
I'm not letting you two go in there without me. And she'll kind of like hold Enid for a second and then remove the kind of like binding that she had him in
Mhm.
and make a very big point of sitting him next to JJ and not Athena.
Yeah. My favorite part of this image is that I believe the bindings are quite literally Hector's denim jacket.
Yep.
So we just have little Enid wrapped in a denim jacket on fire.
His,
Baby.
his name, fear me.
Flapping his arm. If you feed him, he'll be quiet. And he eats like a monster. So
Only the most fearsome.
Monsters know how to find their mouths.
See,
I'll
Athena
grow
goes
into
up.
it.
"Oh, well, I wish you all the best luck. Remember our deal, Hector. I believe in you. You too. Don't fuck me over. And very mature.
Rest assured, goddess, all will fall into place. And he Hector says that while looking at Enid and just lightly taps his sides of his cheek and smiles before getting up and looking over to the other two Doomsayers. Shall we face undoubtedly great horrors ahead of us? What's another one, right?
And Merrick looks at Hector. But not at Hector, at the body Hector is wearing, thinking about how kind he just was to Enid. You sure that you want to do this?
There's no choice left before me now. Remember our promise, Patroclus.
That's why I ask.
That's why I made that deal with you. This is beyond me.
For what I know, you are a very good father.
Can you two stop talking like we're gonna die in there? I'm not letting that happen. Let's go.
What are you going to do? Kick us out after we go down?
She's regent. I think she can.
Yeah.
I could full on reject you from the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere to go but up.
Hmm. That's terrible. All right, let's get this over with.
You follow JJ as you go to the outskirts of the quarry and find yourself at the mouth of a large cave, pitch black, with only a torch just inside lit. He goes, well, your task is quite simple. Go inside, and you should see it when you get there. All you gotta do is grab it and go.
Just like that.
What the
Yep.
fuck is in there? Besides the frame. You say the frame, and I will be mad.
Oh, you could be mad at me, but it is just the frame.
I want to use my last question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any signs of life other than us in the cave?
No, not one bit. Not
Fuck,
even a
hate that.
rat, and not even a cockroach or an insect. It
Hate that.
is a void.
Hate it, actually, Your
It's just
Honor.
a cave. Nothing to worry about.
This sucks.
There's nothing in there.
Well, there's something in there. It's just the frame. I keep telling you, but
Then where did these people go?
don't know. I mean, I don't stay around. Maybe they just leave. Hell, maybe it's not even in there. I never really checked.
You are more unclear than a fucking oracle.
Well, they're not the best people to get advice from, huh?
That's true enough.
Well, if you want, I could stay out here for you. Or I can go with your kid. Can't go inside. Oh, I can stick around if you need me to.
I'll watch the boy. Please.
Will do.
Don't let
Ah,
Athena
at your own,
get to him.
alright. At your own pace. Steady yourself. He begins to walk off.
Right. This is going to be just fine. And Hector will raise his spear and his shield again and start moving forward.
You see Hector begins to walk in, goes past the torch, and disappear behind into the darkness, though you can still hear his foot's echo.
Merrick waits until Hector disappears. And then he's like, fuck. And runs forward to catch up.
As you disappear. What about you, Mallory?
She'll turn to JJ. Do you protect the frame?
I protect nothing. The frame can do that all itself. You should hurry. Don't want to end up like your father.
That won't happen. Carefully bites, and she'll walk into the cave.
One by one, you walk into the cave. At first, it is pitch black. The only real guide and sense that you're moving forward is when you touch your hand against the stone wall and using it to march forward. Soon the torch and what little light it leaves dissipates, and you begin to walk forward and forward. And something strange happens to you. At first, you think it's going inside the cave. There's less wind to worry about, but it gets hotter and hotter. And then you begin to hear something. Faint echoes. You see there's another torch ahead. And at this point, as you reemerge from the light, Hector, what do you look like in this instance?
I'm gonna have to step aside really quick.
Please
Be
do.
right back, gang.
I'll switch it forward. I'll switch it off to somebody real quick. I'll start off with you, Merrick. You kind of are following suit. You see something's happened to Hector, but looking at yourself, what do you look like in this instant?
Merrick steps out.
Hello, everyone.
And... Oh, there, go.
Go. You wanna go? You wanna take it here?
No.
Ral?
I want to know what this is about.
Okay, let's see what this is about. Let's see. With that, Hector, what do you look like as you pop into the scene here, back into the light?
The real Hector of Troy emerges from the shadow into the light. The real Hector of Troy is a tall man, similar build to Steanax, maybe a little larger. He has dark curly hair that is tied into a very, very thick braid that sits against the nape of his neck. He has a thick beard that is also as curly as the hair on his head, and he has this stern, focused gaze and piercing eyes. He's every part of him visage is he's literally the incarnation of tall, dark, handsome. He wears a simple set of robes, the style of Troy, Anatolian in features. And he steps forward, and for the first time in what feels like eternity, the flesh of Hector and Troy emerges in the world of mortals.
And as you emerge, a loud, crackling voice in the dark says, "Pride." As you look
Who the
about,
f-
trying to see what's going on, you see coming out of the darkness is you, Merrick. What do you look like?
Merrick steps forward and he looks cautious at first as he steps out, and his jacket falls away into a very well loved cape that he wears over the same clothes that he was wearing not a couple hours ago in the underworld. A chiton, soft and loved, uh, just a folded garment of straight fabric that is very soft to the touch. And you can see now in the dim light, unlike in the underworld where it was pristine, a memory, here it is crusted in blood in places and hardened and worn from war. It has the heavy weight of beach sand mud caked into the hem of it that falls just past his knees, and he wears leather greaves and leather sandals as he steps forward, every bit Patroclus of the Myrmidons.
And you hear vengeance. Last but not least, Mallory. Do you look any different coming into the light?
I think she does. She steps in, and there is the only difference is that her hair is down, and within her hair are roses, and upon her head sits a dark crystal crown. Small, but that is the only difference. She's still wearing her regular clothes.
As you hear shame. And soon, almost like a light going on, you begin to see a light at the end of the tunnel flickering, and you hear a sound roaring. What do you do?
Merrick is a little bit startled to see Hector. The real face of Hector. The last face that he saw when he was living. This man that he spent a lot of time and energy hating. Hating his face, hating his gait, hating his regal bearing because of a single prophecy. Because knowing that Hector would one day be the downfall of the one person in all of the world that Patroclus ever cared about. But then he also has to look to him, the one leading this movement, the one he promised, the one he's trusted. And that familiarity dies away a little as he says, "Lead on."
Hector sees your widening pupils, and in it, the mirror to his own reflection, as he sees his face for the first time in centuries. And he is startled for a moment, and then he takes in your entire visage. Your face, your dying face, your dying words are seared into the memory banks of Hector of Troy. He remembered when he snuffed out your life with his spear. He remembered your mocking insults, your prophecy to his doom. And he spent a lot of time in regret, in guilt. But he looks to you, like he would look to any one of his Trojan comrades. And he nods, smiles at Mallory one more time before leading on. And you see, when Hector walked in his Theanax's body, he did have that. He walked as he would have walked, but there's a different shift in the air now that he is in his own flesh. This is Hector of Troy, truly, finally. Stay close, both of you.
As you go forward, soon sound, fire begin to encompass everything around. You feel something of a puddle as you step on the cobblestone street. You think it's water, it's not. It's blood. Thick. Fresh. The buildings are on fire, familiar to you, as they're multi-leveled going up. But that is not the thing that gives it away. What stands before you all, untouched, unkept, simply standing there, with its latch open, a giant wooden horse. You are in Troy, and it is falling. And that is where we shall take a quick break, everyone. Yay! We're going to take a quick break, because it's not over yet. So with that, go to El Baño, grab yourself a snack, and we'll be right back. We'll see you soon, folks. Welcome back, folks. With that in mind, we're looking at a freaking horse, to be specific. The infamous Trojan horse. I'm very curious, do my two here know what this is, or is this just a wooden horse to you?
I mean, Hector definitely read up on what happened to Troy and heard from whispers from Shades of what happened to Troy. So he knows what this is, but this is the first time the Prince of Troy has ever laid eyes on the ingenious trap and ambush crafted by Odysseus himself.
Much the same way, Patroclus was gone when this happened. But even if he wanted to avoid it and not look into it, the moment that anyone knew who he was, and he did not start going by Merrick until after getting out of Ironport, and that's a long time for people to be like, oh, do you know what happened? Oh, do you know what happened? And so people insisting on telling him the story of all of the bad things that came out of the war, that ended the war, that this person that he tolerated, that kind of ruined his life, created to destroy this city. That, yeah, it's good that Troy had some sort of comeuppance, but this was not what he wanted. He wanted out of this war. He knew who was behind those walls. And seeing it honestly makes him a little sick.
And as you try to process what exactly is going on, you see a door opens in one of the nearby huts that seems to lead what looks like to you, Hector, at least, your home, the palace.
Hector's in disbelief for a moment. He sees this door open from a nearby building and he just looks at it and that's not how that works. That's not the way to the palace. And I think a wave of nostalgia pulls the feeling of surrender from Hector for a moment. He's not seen his home, and I think he sees the halls of the palace, and then he smells the incense. He smells the rugs and the textiles, and he just starts walking through. And I think the both of you, Marek and Mallory, you both hear from him saying out loud, "That's not. That's the palace." And he just like starts walking forward.
Wait.
And he walks forward.
Walking forward, are the rest of you catching up?
Yeah, Merrick runs after him. He made a promise. In different skin, in a different moment, but still that oath.
And as
Can't let it
you
go.
all proceed forward, it shifts and changes. Fire is all around you, but in the Imperial Palace, and you see the source of where the blood comes from. You see the home that was once yours, tattered, aflame, with slashes against the wall, and dead bodies all around. Of your mother, of your sisters, of your brothers, of your father. Seeping deep into the rock. And is that too much for you? But there does seem to be what looks like to be a bedroom in which an individual is holding something in their hand as a sword is embedded in them.
Wait, no. And like Hector Kraut was like near kneeling looking at the dead bodies of his family, of his sisters, his brothers, one of whom is missing. Paris is missing. He sees his mother, he sees Priam, and there's a moment where, similar to the underworld, he wants to touch his father's face one more time, and he sees this figure headed to his chamber. How could he ever forget that room? And he gets up and he says, "No, wait, wait, wait." And he gets up and he scrambles after this individual who with a sword in
Hector!
them.
As you're walking forward to Hector, Merrick, something's weird here. There are the bodies of these individuals that you remember, but believe it or not, there are bodies here that you are familiar with, more intimately. The body of your father. The body of the boy you killed so long ago. And the body of your lover.
As he goes to call after Hector, he finally sees the face of his father, a face that he has not seen since he was a boy. And not far from him, a face that haunts him when he sleeps. Clysonimus. And just when he thinks that he's about to yell in fury and agony, he sees Achilles on the ground, and he falls immediately down next to him. A face that he's longed to see and hold. Achilles!
In this instance, Mallory, as you're going through, almost trying to determine who you should provide comfort for, you see your own father in a side section off to the side, dead on the ground.
She hesitates for a long moment and then turns away, as she has many times, to him, to see, I'm guessing at this point, because Hector's run off, Merrick is closest, I think.
You're in sort of the same room, but very different parts of it.
Oh, okay. She'll kind of walk to his side and not say anything, but make it known that, like, she is there. She doesn't, like, touch him. She just makes sure that her presence is known.
He can't hear her steps. His hands go to run over the only face he has ever beloved, petting it desperately, dreading that any day he would ever see this. And he is lost.
And as we go back to Hector, you move forward and see it is your wife, stabbed through the chest and holding the third frame.
Chomaki. My love, come. I must take you away from here, please. Chomaki, please, come.
You see their jaw unhinges. Their eyes still blank, staring into death, and begins to talk. My love. You see what we have had to endure.
I know. I see, I know. I wasn't there. I wasn't here. But I'm here now. I'm here. Please. Come with me.
Prideful son. At this point, Merrick, your father's corpse jaw unhinged, insolent boy who wanted to claim vengeance, glory of failure.
And the words are like being cut right through. And I think he winces against Achilles before turning back with fiery fury in his eyes. No, that's you. You're the failure.
Lower your voice when you speak to me, boy.
You abandoned me.
The corpse of Hades. Abandonment. Get a load of this one, Mallory. Like they would know what that means. And in unison, their voices match. You have left us to die. So it is only fair that we pay your respect. And you see the corpses begin to... As you see shadow begin to erupt, forming into a single entity that you saw before, Barret, but has a much clearer face in this instant. After all, brother, you weren't there when we needed you. Pointing over to Hector with their long, dripping, oozing hands. You figured it out first, Hector. There was a body not here among the others. Paris.
Paris? Paris?
I'm so glad we get a time to talk. I've been trying to convince yourself to kill yourself for years, and it doesn't really work.
You? I didn't. I know that you survived. I
Survived? You call this surviving?
What happened, Paris?
What happened? I tried to love someone is what fucking happened.
You
And you
stole a man's wife.
Ah, please. I stole a man's wife, a wife who didn't want to be with that man. How you were the first one to be on my side, but yet, when it came down to it, you just had to show off, didn't you? You couldn't stay behind the wall? No! You just had to play hero.
I did
'Cause
my
that's-
duty.
Duty! Please! Is that what you told Mom and Dad you adopted me? And you see that almost like puppets begins to move their corpses.
Stop it.
Stop what? It's not my shame. And your friends, they're no better. Merrick. What a pathetic name. And all that trauma inside you's like a buffet. Should it be your father who smacked you around like a little boy? Or maybe the one guy you killed that you for some reason can't stop thinking about. And then there's Mallory. Your father's a god and yet you're still a crybaby. It's fucking fascinating. Really.
Paris. Drop them.
Mwah. Make me. Hell, you know what? This thing, as you see, grabs the frame. has the power to create life. Why shouldn't I use yours to make myself a new body? Bring back Helena, my love. And then we can dispose of the garbage.
Even in death, all you've ever thought about is yourself.
Your
I fought
voice!
for you. I died for you. I protected you. You're my brother. When have I failed you?
You have
Everything
always...
I've done is in service to you.
As you see, he begins to ooze from sections. For me? When you went out to kill that one, was it for me? When you went to go face Achilles, was it for me? Be truthful, brother. You only ever done for yourself. If it was truly for me, you would have listened. You would have stayed. Hell, you would have been with your wife and child when they needed you the most. Shall I regale you with their deaths?
Stop.
Your wife screamed, saying, "No, not my child."
Stop it.
And then your son. I heard there's this thing they call shock put. I think it was a similar nature and tactic they use.
Shut up. I'm gonna go deck Paris.
Please go toe to toe.
I'm gonna punch my own brother. I'm
As he
invoking
deserves.
Dominant Duelist, Poised amidst Doom, Agile Hoplite, Commander, Sharpened Strategy, Venerated Protector, Prince of Troy, and Wrathful Spear, and Bring Glory to Troy. I will invoke Damned by the Divine and A Father's Love.
And -3 because of who our lovely boy is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how much am I adding to this, friends, again?
3.
3. I'm adding 3 to this. Fantastic. 4, 9
9.
total.
You choose one of those below. So you're gonna achieve your goal, you're gonna give him a status, or are you gonna dodge?
I'm going to give him a status.
Mm-hmm.
Wrath of an Older Brother.
You punch him with the first punch so hard that the ooze flicks off. And you can see what looks like to be the corpse underneath it that slowly begins to ooze back. The second punch,
Right.
you see he grabs with his fist. Brother. You are a failure, brother. As are all of you. And if you want to fight me, you have to deal with your own demons. And you see oozing corpses of those that you have been affected by begin to form off. Let's get to work, boys. I need to see what are my other two doing as you see at this point, Merrick, about maybe 4 to 3 individuals are coming towards you, Mallory, you see your father almost like grab you immediately, trying to bring you down. So what are we doing in this instance for you two?
Oh man. I think Merrick is a little stunned. And he I think that his instinct is actually to like run away. Truly like run further down the hallway from them. And you see in him a glimmer of not the proud Myrmidon, not the mythic man beside the most incredible of the Greeks, but a scared boy, a banished prince for a mistake. That's it. and all the running that he never got to do from this moment, he just turns and begins to run away.
Fantastic, running away. What about you, Mallory? What are you doing?
You said that Hades is like grabbing me and trying to like pull me down.
Pulling your hair at the moment. As you see, it's like
Hair.
almost like this oozy Tari is like getting in it and like trying to pull you down.
I'm gonna use spectral movement to get away, or I'm gonna away. Using spectral movement.
Mm-hmm. The face danger, so you
face danger, yeah. Spectral movement. Leave the light on. That's all I really have for this moment. Okay, that's fun.
Oh boy.
Oh dear. All right, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be just fine. Everything's fine. Nothing horrible is happening at all. Oh shit. That was +2. I said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's 13.
Oh,
Jeez, let's go.
So with that, where are you going? As you're able to escape from your father's grasp, we hear, "Where are you going, my child? We have much to discuss."
She will kind of step away with her back to a wall and say, "Then let's talk." You're nothing but a memory.
And you're nothing of a disappointment. You had all the power, all the regency at your fingertips, and what? You fucked a human? Who isn't even alive? With a child who one day will know death. You maybe could live forever, but your child is half. He will die and you will live on. Failure, if you so do.
It's not fair.
Life is cruel.
So were you.
And then let us embrace. As he begins to zombie his way forward. With that, at this point, Hector, you see that Paris forms, and with that, your wife on the other side as he puppets them along with all these other individuals.
Release her!
Release who, my love? I am here. Please join me in the deep, dark pits of despair. You failed us, and they were able to protect us. As you see, Paris is almost miming at this point.
Stop wearing her skin! And Hector will, as much as he understands and knows that the voice of Andromache that's pulled him towards death, and that there is his brother puppeteering the zombified body of his wife, Hector can't strike Andromache. That's his wife. That's his love. So all he can do is hold up his spear to push back against her grasping fingers puppeteered by Paris, just to keep her off of him.
Fantastic. Are you fighting in this instance, or are you just kind of facing danger?
I think this is facing danger.
Yeah, you face
think,
danger.
yeah.
That feels more appropriate here.
Yeah, I will do that. I will invoke Dominant Duelist, Poised Amidst Doom, Agile Hoplite, Behind Every Great Man, Spearmanship, and an Honorable Virtue.
-3 because you're dealing with Paris.
Yep. Fuck me. Oh, but that's a 13. But that's a 13, baby.
So what are you like holding it off, or are you kind of like on this side?
I think he's like, as she's grabbing towards him, he's holding up this spear and he's just like pushing her back off of him, because if Paris is puppeteering everything, he wants to close the gap with Paris, not hurt Andromache, because he loves his wife and he will never hurt or strike her.
I have a question, brother. How does it feel being in the skin of your son? It's gotta be fucking weird.
Shut up.
You wanna know
Shut up.
who led good old Athena to the body of the boy?
Is there no depth to your betrayal, Paris? He's your nephew!
Please, I'm adopted.
Hector's pissed the fuck off, and he's gunning to close that distance, but he has to first wreck it with a drum key.
With that, Merrick, you try to boom, running down the halls. At this point, you see that as you try to go to where you think there's an exit, the wall forms up.
Let me out!
With that, you hear, "That's not what I would think of the boy who killed me. It seems you had more bravery at the age of 9 than that of a man."
Clysonimus, please. I'm begging you.
What? Beg me what?
Leave me be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry!
Look at me. Turn your head around. Gaze upon your works, great and mighty.
And as he remembers that horrible moment, the moment where his whole world changed, that flare of rage that his father Menoetius put in him, that sword that he held when he was 9, that he carried every day because his father expected him to be a good warrior, a good soldier, a worthy prince. The weight of his soul. And because of his tie to the very being of a Myrmidon through and through, a sword materializes in his hand, that short sword. And he can feel it. And as he turns to face Clysonimus, the boy, he finally opens his eyes as he turns to see him. Let me be.
You see dripping and oozing from the mark on which you stabbed him. I will have my pound of flesh, wolf. You can do it willingly or the way I want it, the hard way.
You're long gone. I know. I know. And if it takes getting through you to get to him, I will. And he is going to charge at Clysonimus with the sword that he killed him with.
Please do. Are you going ham or are you just going toe to toe?
I think he's going ham because
Alright.
he's now seen Achilles for the first time in lifetimes.
Hit him with all you got.
Ooh, okay. We're gonna do Rage Against Destiny,
Mm-hmm.
Famously Ill-Fated,
Mm-hmm.
Always Beside Him,
Mm-hmm.
Wrought in War,
Mm-hmm.
Myrmidon Armaments,
Mm-hmm.
and Rend the Threads.
All right. -2 as you're dealing with some trauma.
Yeah.
Hey, the trauma tax.
The trauma
every-
tax.
With every move you make.
Trauma.
That is a 9.
A 9. So you can choose one. Either you take cover or you secure a superior position. You get them good. You kind of give them a tier. You can kind of control kind of the collateral damage that might come off of this. Or you hold the target's attention, though I don't think that's too big of a problem right here. Or you can get some juice.
I think I'm I think as he runs forward, the problem with Patroclus when he was a boy was that he did not know how to control his rage, and he spent the rest of his life trying to tame this wild wolf inside of him. And through love and patience and training, he managed to smother it. And here and now, facing the whole reason he learned how bad it was, he lets it all loose. And I would like to get them good as he, with the fury and rage of a life full of cut short destinies, of a lost princehood, of a childhood marred by trauma, he is going to attack this figment of his pain
With that,
with everything he has.
go in, stab, stab. You see, falls into a puddle, but as you do, you see 3 more bodies begin to come through, with your father being prominent. Even your attacks are disappointing. You strike like a child who's lost a tantrum. Predictable boy.
Jason should have left you behind. And he's going to keep swinging through as many of them as he can get to.
Fantastic. Mallory, what are you doing in this instance as you go to your... dodging off the side, your father? Where are you going, my child? A hug is all that is needed.
Where is the frame?
You see Paris is using the frame almost in a sense of drawing its power to do this puppetry. So very much holding it in that way of like puppeteers holding the thing. You see he's using it in the same fashion.
Whew, okay. In that case, I want to. I'm trying to think of what this would be. Basically, what I am trying to do is kind of like stun the memory of Hades for a bit, if that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I want to use my divination because I think this would kind of work. Ghostly Whispers, where she can speak to the dead. And one of the things that she can do is hear the final moments and regrets of somebody before they pass. If I roll high enough.
So what are you
But
trying
I'm,
to
I'm
get
trying to figure out
from-
what that would, huh?
What are you trying to get out of this situation? I think is the main thing. It's like,
Something
I'm
that
not-
would cause him to like hesitate or stop.
Yeah, take a risk if you'd be so kind.
Take
I
a
think
risk?
You're
Okay.
taking a risk here because you're very much giving up your bodily
Yeah.
defense. So you take a risk with me there.
So I'm going to use yeah, I'll use Scared Stiff. They're my world.
Mm-hmm.
Unfinished Business.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark in here, right?
For sure.
Cool. Are you afraid of
Fire,
the dark?
but for the most sure, it's pretty dark.
I'm gonna give you expert advice. Commander sharpened strategy.
Heck yeah. And you've got one of those faces I trust.
Gotcha. I'll say -1 because Death does have its eye on you currently.
Yes, it does. All right. I keep coming up with these ridiculously dangerous ideas. Why do I keep doing this?
Because there's a Mallory.
Oh! That is a... Wait, how many was that? 5?
Yes.
That's a 17.
It's 17.
Oh, whoa!
You roll box.
Woo!
Yeah!
With that, in this moment, you
I should have been using these dice the entire time. My Persephone
Going-
and Hades dice.
going through, you're able to recollect, and you see the last moment of Paris's Helen trying to grasp from him, or trying to go towards him, but being almost pushed back by the Greeks who've made their way in, and you just feel a stabbing notion in your chest from all the commanders that wanted their piece of flesh from Paris.
Oh, yes, because when she does, I just for the narrative aspects of it, when she does do this, she does experience the pain of the person in those last moments.
Feeling that you're able to project that on Paris, as you see he drops the frame, you see the illusion of your wife, Hector, drops, leaving you a moment here to finish this man, as he's kind of,
I think Hector gets pushed back by Paris and his mocks, and as he's standing up, he pulls himself up by his spear, and as he remembers the words of his not real wife in his mind, but there was some truth to it all those days ago. He is the fucking Hector of Troy. And as he stands up, he says, "You're right, Paris. I wasn't here. I left the fort, kill Patroclus, for Troy. I left the fort to kill Achilles for glory. I wasn't here for my family, my kingdom, for my son or my wife. But you forget one thing. I am Hector of Troy, the breaker of horses. Even 20 Hectors will fall by my spear," and he will launch his spear directly towards Paris.
hit him with all you got, buddy.
I will hit him with all I got. I am invoking Dominant Duelist, Poison its Doom, Agile Hoplite, Commander Sharpened Strategy, Prince of Troy, behind every great man, Wrathful Spear, and bring glory to Troy.
-3 because it's Paris.
It's Paris. I will also invoke A Father's Love and Precious Lamb to Slaughter. So it's a plus
It's a minus,
six.
oh, +6, okay.
+6 total, yeah. Alrighty. +6. 12 total. Thank God. I rolled really
How do
well.
you take out Paris in this instance? As you see, he tries to reform himself, trying to grasp the frame.
Mhm. I think as he's trying to reform himself and puppeteer this frame in his hands, the spear first launches into the Shiva.
Shiva does not like this.
Shiva.
No, don't kill him. He's Paris. He's hot. Don't do it.
He's hot. Don't do it. As he launches the spear, and Paris begins puppeteering this frame, the spear lodges itself into the palm of Paris's hand, and as he screams, Hector leaps forward and pushes the spear further past the palm of his hand and into his chest as he grabs onto his shoulder and stabs him. But the older brother, holds Paris, one arm across his shoulder, holding him in a tight embrace while this spear is embedded in his chest.
You can kill me, brother, and it won't bring them back. No matter
know.
what you do, they'll always be dead.
And you will always be my brother.
See you in hell.
Goodbye, Paris.
You see a white explosion blows off in all your directions, blinding enough as you, Merrick, and Mallory get pushed into the mouth of the cave, out of it, completely, back into your normal selves. But for you, Hector, You see you are surrounded by nothing but white as you hold the frame in your hand. And you hear coming from behind your back, JJ.
Care to explain what all this is?
I heard great many legends of the great Hector. Just never assumed them to be all true.
They aren't.
I've thought about this moment for a while. What exactly I would say to the great and mighty Hector. As you see, he begins to take off the jacket and everything covering his face. So many legends about one man, and yet there is only one word I can associate with Hector. Father. As your boy, looking very similar to you, though a little bit more homeless than anything, stands before you as it is like looking in a mirror.
Xanax. My son.
Hi, Dad. Goes in for a hug.
And Hector embraces him in the tightest hug. And there's a heartbeat, 2 heartbeats, 3 heartbeats between the two of them. And he pulls away from him and he like taps his cheek. Why didn't you say anything? I'm gonna hide this from your father.
Well,
You say nothing.
because this next part is difficult. I know you are trying to bring me back. Paris found me and abducted me, and Athena, well, did what they did with the bodies, thinking it would provide a permanent solution to your having to constantly be switched out.
No.
This isn't really me. If anything, it is an echo of what's left.
No.
You can't bring me back, Dad. No matter how much I would love to be with you, you can't. There's nothing left. I'm all used up, Dad.
Don't you say that. You are a Xanax. You are Scamandrius. I named you after the mighty river. I held you in my hands when your mother gave birth to you. I held you.
I know. And I lived up to that name, Dad. I lived for quite some time. Met people. Fell in love, fought in wars. Lost people. I lived a life, Dad. And I've always tried to be, well, you. The way you protected us. When nobody else had anybody. And like all rivers, they dry up, Dad. I did my best. And if anything, I hope I left a mark on this world to make it a better place.
Shoot. You are my son. Of course you did.
But now, Dad, it's your time. You have a chance to be a hero again, as he puts the frame in your hands. To right our wrongs. You and your friends.
Hector hangs his head low and he pulls Astyanax back into this hug and he holds the back of the boy's head. And there's sobs, the sobs of a father who feels so helpless in this moment. And as he grips him, remembering the feeling of holding his son in his arms, Hector says, "Wait for me. If I have to break through the gates of Elysium, no, don't you talk back. I am your father, boy. And I say, if I will break through the gates of Elysium to return you to your life, your story, I will. That is a father's promise, no matter how long it fucking takes. And you be proud. Hold your head high. We will be a family together again. I love you, son."
I love you more, Dad.
Not possible. And he presses a kiss onto Astyanax's forehead, and I think there's a moment where we see a younger Hector holding a baby and him pressing his lips to that baby's forehead, and it's the exact same way. As he bids his son farewell. A see you later, actually. Not farewell.
You see the gates of Elysium open, grasps your son as he gives you a sign off. Before you are cast back out. In this instance, you all try to grasp on the emotions and feelings that you have. As the frame is in your hand, but soon, Hector, it flies off into Athena's as it begins to form. Thank you, Hector. You have been a wonderful tool.
Goddess,
Mm-hmm.
is this how you pay loyalty? And he looks at her with the clear eyes of, I know what you have done. I know what you have taken from me, goddess.
I have taken nothing. Mortals are like insects. Your lives are so minuscule and meaningless. Would I feel bad if I crushed a cockroach? No. If anything, I kept you like a pet, Hector. We had a wonderful relationship, but for my plan to continue, I must let go of certain assets.
I am no longer loyal to you if you've not held up your end of the bargain, goddess. And he pulls, and for the first time in forever, he doesn't pull the spear from his neck. it just apparates in his hand as he looks over to Athena.
Up, you're an idiot because you brought a stick to a gunfight. And each of you, get hit with this powerful taser that hits you in your neck. Bringing you all to the ground, and you see above you a helicopter. And soon coming from various areas, the tribunal.
Of course.
As you see Zeus on the side. Thank you very much, Athena. My pleasure. Zeus looks down at all of you. You have some explaining to do. And that is where we shall end it for today. Yay! Yay! We love to see it. With that, everyone, that has been another eventful episode of the Doomsayers. With that in mind, we're going to go in reverse order here in terms of plugs and where you can find all our sweet, sweet people here. Starting off with the one, the only Hector/Val. Please take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valiant Dorian. I use him as pronouns. You can find me all around the internet, Valiant Dorian, or at Auto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just say on. Tonight, folks, I had the distinct pleasure of playing the Hector of Troy, Prince of Troy, Breaker of Horses, the greatest warrior of Troy, and a father. If you want to keep an eye out on what I'm doing, Chaos is back next Saturday for the continuation of Arc 3. I will be making choices as Sayer, the misbeloved twin brother of the Chosen One. I also have a slew of other projects that have been semi-announced, semi-not announced. One of which is called Secrets of the Actuality. Please keep an eye on my socials, specifically on Blue Sky, for more updates and teasers for upcoming stuff on Secrets of the Actuality, a lore dive, theory crafting, TTRPG show in collaboration with Monty Cook Games. So keep an eye out for that, folks. And with that, I'm going to pass it on over to the motherfucking queen of the underworld, Mallory. Please take it away.
Oh boy, I'm the motherfucking queen of the underworld, Mallory, today. But I'm Calamity, again, pronounced she, they. You can find me all over the internet as Hey Calamity with 3 Y's at the end. You can also find things I do over on Telltale Hearts, which is a group that likes to promote diversity in the tabletop space. We recently announced that we are going to start streaming on Wednesdays. So if you don't have anything to do Wednesday evenings, you can come hang out with us. We'll be doing various stuff and eventually having guests. But yeah, other than that, just keep an eye out on my socials. I got a lot of stuff coming up this year. I'm excited to tell you all about. How about you, Kai? How you doing?
Oh, now that I've cried, love crying. Hi everyone, I'm Kai. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris. You can find me on Saturday also over with Val over on the Chaos Protocol, where I have no idea what horrible things Val is cooking, but I'm a sweet and innocent man. You can also find me on Tuesday over on Happy Jack's RPG, where we're back from the New Year break with What About Bob's, which is a Mouse Ritter actual play. And I've got a lot of stuff cooking, so follow me on my socials and see all of the fun things that I have that are imminently going to be announced, hopefully, and come back for more of this painful heartache Greek tragedy. Chris?
Then there was me, the one responsible for all this tragedy. Hello, my name is Chris, and I've been your humble MC for these preceding evenings. You can find me on social media at VO Cologne, whether it be underscore or not. In terms of what's going on, we have only 2 more episodes of the Doomsayers left. That's right, folks. We are in the sort of penultimate and ultimate episode soon. So sad to see them go, but story's got to come to an end too eventually. Also, we're starting back up on Wednesday with another new episode as we go into the final act of the Stewart's War. So that's almost over as well. So this month, hopefully, we'll get some stuff finished out, and we're working on some new stuff as well. So you can keep around in socials at Taíno Tales to see what we're cooking up in here. So with that in mind, thank you for joining us for another wonderful evening, and we hope to see you again for another episode of the Doomsayers. Until then, everyone, have a lovely night. Bye bye.